There are other threats to your passwords, such as software that's able to monitor what you do so they can actually see exactly what you're typing, and key grabbers that allow you to capture every possible keystroke, including enter, shift, backspace, etc. And then finally, we have shoulder surfing, where individuals are willing to type their password right with someone standing behind them looking over. I've had many students that come up to me and try to get some help, and they're like, oh, I need to log in. And so they type their password literally right in front of me. Be more cautious about this. I try to look away, but other people are not going to be as generous. So the attacks that we previously talked about are offline attacks, where you're actually able to gain access to all the hashes and be able to throw these attacks against the passwords. However, there are other methods of doing password cracking. So the first one is cracking remotely, which if you're on your personal computer trying to throw attacks at a web server, it may say, hey, we're only going to allow 3 failed login attempts and then lock you out of the system. So another approach would be to crack directly on the server. So if you gain access to the server, you could then throw the attacks directly at the database, but this can also be detected and blocked. So the best approach that a person is going to want to do is be able to gain access to your database and extract all the usernames with their associated hashed passwords, and then be able to do a bunch of the attacking that we just demonstrated. This is going to be less obtrusive. There's going to be no way to know if they're running this attack if they actually have access to all the hashed values. So we're going to show you an example of how you could potentially attack a site that has a login page. So follow the steps here, pause this video, and then come back to see how we do this.
All right, welcome back. So I built this fake login page for us to be able to attack with Hydra. And just to give you some idea how this works, if I send any credentials through here, it's going to say my login credentials are incorrect. So we're going to use this information to see if we can do a Hydra attack. So now we're here in Kali Linux and we're going to attack this login page. So to do this, I can either use the Windows key or the Mac key to open up Hydra. And this will walk me step by step, prompting me what to enter in to perform an attack. However, I prefer to just go to the terminal, and I'm going to paste the command that I showed you previously. So let's walk through what this is doing. Hydra is going to use the application Hydra. Verbose is going to give me an output for what's going to come out. The lowercase l is going to use the admin as a password. If I had a capital letter L, then I could provide a file and would use a combination of multiple users together with the multiple passwords. A lowercase p would allow me to use a single password. A capital P allows me to use a file. And in this case, I'm going to use rocku.txt, which is a large dictionary of compromised passwords. The site that I'm going to attack is my site, bluebox.creighton.edu. We have a HTTPS post form. What that means is when someone submits the login page, it interacts with HTTPS using post. And the site specifically on bluebox.creighton.edu is in the directory test and then fake-login.php. Then what I'm going to do is add a colon, and we are going to test fake-login.php using the username. And this is how you indicate that you're going to use the user from the provided user up here. So in this case, admin. And then we have and password. So we're going to use the password from this password file. So it's going to go through and test all these passwords one by one until it has exhausted all the possibilities or identified what the password was. And then this last piece, and login equals login incorrect, basically is going to check to see if the word incorrect is returned. As I showed you previously, when I tried to log in, it says that your credentials were incorrect. If the word incorrect shows up, that means the login's incorrect, and it's going to go and attempt the next one. And you can see now that it is targeting with all these different passwords. So you can see it has just now finished, and it took 1,237 attempts to determine a possible password. In this case, 9876543210. So the last step is to come back here and test these credentials that we just found. So admin, and then we'll do 9876543210. And it shows a message stating that we have successfully hacked into the admin user account, and if this were a real login page, you would have compromised this machine.
Thanks for watching my video. Feel free to click the links here to watch the next video of the playlist, continue to the next playlist, or subscribe.